Astros baseball is presented by Whataburger. Today from West Palm Beach, Florida, we welcome you inside the Cacti Park of the Palm Beaches. The Miami Marlins in town. As the Houston Astros continue spring training baseball, Ronel Blanco will be on the mound today for the Astros. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. We actually had a week in between this game and our last game. What's been going on?
Nothing, and that's a good thing because everybody is healthy, and you're going to see in the lineup today that everybody's healthy, getting out there, getting their at-bats, and that's the biggest key.
Blummer, it's time for the big reveal. Here it is. Today's lineup could be the lineup opening day, March 28th.
I was going to say, you could fast forward to opening day, and I believe this will be that opening day lineup. Obviously, things can change depending on who's on the mound, fly ball pitcher, ground ball pitcher. But Yordan Alvarez being in that second spot is really kind of the big key for me. Will he get comfortable there? Because he's going to see a lot more at-bats in that position. But it rounds out pretty nice, TK. I like it.
Yeah, righties all the way through from 5 all the way through 9, but you've got those two lefties, 2 and 4. They're separated a little bit. I think this is a lineup. If Jake Myers has a good year, and we're going to talk to Jake, that really could hit 1 through 9. It
really could. You're going to add some speed at the bottom of the lineup, too, which is also interesting to me because if they're on base running around, there's a good chance they're going to score a ton of runs with Altuve and Alvarez at the top.
There's your lineup today. We are ready for the first pitch from West Palm Beach, Florida. It'll be the Astros and the Marlins right around the corner. Astros baseball on Space City Home Network is presented by Whataburger. There's breakfast, and then there's Whataburger breakfast, served 11 o'clock at night to 11 in the morning. By Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Astros. And by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. Welcome into the Cacti Park of the Palm Beaches, West Palm Beach, Florida. 76 sun-filled degrees as we get ready for baseball between the Miami Marlins and the Houston Astros. The Astros come in with Ronel Blanco on the mound as he will pitch today against Miami.
Yeah, Ronel's off to a great start in this spring training. Kind of interesting after we get the news from Justin Verlander. You may be taking a little bit closer look at what Ronel might possibly be able to do out of spring training. But as it goes, he's pitched in 4 2/3 innings, yet to give up an earned run. Only 1 walk on the spring, which bodes well for Ronel Blanco because if you look at the numbers from last season, splitting between starts and coming out of that bullpen, walks were a little bit of an issue with 28 in those 52 innings he pitched.
So here is the Miami Marlins lineup that Ronel will face. Vidal Brujan will lead off. He'll be in right field, a switch hitter, followed by John Birdie at shortstop. Brian De La Cruz will be the left fielder. He'll bat third. Nick Gordon coming over in a trade just less than a month ago from Minnesota. He'll be in center field and bat cleanup. Former Astro Trey Mancini will DH and hit 5th. Nick Fortes is the catcher hitting 6th. Tristan Gray, left-hand hitting 3rd baseman, bat 7th. Xavier Edwards is at 2nd base, and Jonah Bride will play first base today. Bride will bat in the 9 position. The Astros not only have their opening day lineup that we'll show you next half inning, but they're anticipating getting those starters 3 at-bats each, so they could be in for about 2/3 of the game today as we are ready for baseball on a Tuesday afternoon from West Palm Beach, Florida. Astros taking on the Marlins today. The Astros and the Marlins met earlier on February 28th this spring, with the Astros winning 6-1 at Roger Dean's Chevrolet Stadium in Jupiter. As Brujan, last year with Tampa Bay, has been with the Rays for the last 3 years, came over along with a few other Tampa Bay players, with Peter Bendix now the director of baseball operations for the Marlins. He brought some of the players he was familiar with coming over from Tampa Bay to Miami. Next pitch is grounded foul. Ronel Blanco getting ahead of the count 1-2.
Ronel's going to bring in that fastball. He can be in the mid-90s with it. We've also seen a pretty good changeup and slider already in this at-bat, too. Seen a lot of Astro pitchers this spring training working on that changeup, trying to add another pitch to that repertoire. We know the Astros are heavy on the spin. They do teach that and love it. But at the same time, for a lot of these right-handed pitchers to be able to get lefties out, it's good to have that changeup available.
That was a little bit low. He took that pitch as 3-2. Brujan guy that can play all over on the infield and in the outfield. And may have broken his bat there on the 3-2 pitch and fouls it down the right field line. Miami Marlins come in with a hockey-like record in spring training. They are 2 wins, 4 losses, and 3 ties.
3 ties.
Back in the old days, they used to have ties in the hockey.
Well, in the Smythe division is usually what I typically would watch.
It has been an interesting spring. Skip Schumacher is the reigning National League Manager of the Year. Joe Espada managing in the other dugout for the Astros. Had a chance on Sunday to manage against his good buddy Carlos Mendoza of the Mets. There is ball 4 as Brujan draws a walk. So this game starts with a full count walk to Vidal Brujan. Marlins coming off the playoff appearance last year. And one of the reasons why Schumacher won Manager of the Year. John Birdie, the shortstop, he thought he'd be the everyday shortstop coming off a 133 games played season last year. But then the Marlins in the past few days just acquired Tim Anderson. So Anderson obviously will contend for that starting shortstop role and may have Birdie playing some different positions. Swing and a miss at an 0-1 fastball. Ronel Blanco gets ahead 0-2.
I like the idea of signing Tim Anderson to that 1-year deal. It's good for both parties. It's good for the Marlins getting a guy who's on a 1-year contract trying to reprove himself, because the All-Star, Tim Anderson, has all the talent in the world. I think getting out of Chicago might be a good thing for him.
How about Blanco
just blowing noise past him?
This fastball, and then upper tank fastball as he strikes him out on 3 pitches.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have to mess around too much, and that fastball is live from Blanco. And like TK said, I like the fact that he's able to elevate it right there, kind of put it in that tough swing decision area.
One guy in the lineup today that should be an everyday player for the Marlins is this guy, Brian De La Cruz. De La Cruz played 153 games last year. You see his numbers. Takes that one down and away, and the count's 2-0. Ronel Blanco, his 3rd start of the spring. Dropped in a little 2-0 wrinkle, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, it was a slider that backed up a little bit. Sometimes you'll hear hitters say that's the best pitch in baseball, because when you recognize spin, you anticipate where that ball is going to be, but when it backs up, it doesn't break in that traditional way, and sometimes you get that swing and miss. Ooh. Slider's looking late and sharp today.
De La Cruz, the former Astro minor leaguer, now with a 2-2 count.
There's a pretty good example in that slow-mo, how it broke as soon as that swing started. It's tough for a hitter to adjust mid-swing.
Ground ball, backhanded at third by Bregman, to second for 1. The turn double play around the horn. Bregman, Altuve, Abreu, and Blanco faces the minimum in the first thanks to an inning double play. Be your look on opening day, March 28th against the New York Yankees. Altuve, Alvarez, Bregman, first 3. Kyle Tucker, Jose Abreu, Yainer Diaz, the 4 through 6 spots. And then Chas McCormick, Jeremy Pena, and Jake Myers round out your Astros lineup. We'll hear from the skipper, Joe Espada, in the 5th inning to find out if that could, in fact, be a potential opening day lineup as the first pitch misses to Jose Altuve, 1-0.
There's Trevor Rogers, left-hander.
Ground ball to short. John Birdie backhands and throws out Altuve. Jose now 1 for 10 on the spring.
Going back to Trevor, didn't pitch all that much last season. Only got 18 innings in, 4 starts. That rip at 1.22. Hitters hitting 229 against him. Averaging 93 miles an hour on that fastball. Has a changeup and a slider to back it up.
He will be vying for that final spot in the rotation for the Marlins as he faces the left-hand hitting Yordan Alvarez here. The lefty gets a breaking ball for a swinging strike, 0-1. Another guy we'll see today in the Marlins rotation is David Weathers, and he's also a candidate to be in that 5th spot in the rotation. I mentioned only 4 starts. He had a bicep strain last April, and then in June had a lat tear, and that really derailed him for the rest of the year. 0-2 pitch. Yordan gets a piece of it and slices it foul. Stays 0-2 on the big man. Well, we've seen Yordan Alvarez hitting that 2 spot this spring. Something that Joe Espada wanted to look at, and so far he has stayed in that 2-hole in between Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman. He's had 1 game in his major league career where he batted second in the regular season, but this could become a regular thing in 24.
And again, it's just going to be up to whether or not Yordan Alvarez probably wants to hit there. Pretty good pitch painted on that outside corner to get him. But at the same time, you know, wherever Yordan hits, I mean, it's not going to be anywhere from 4 down. But if he's in that first 3 spots in the order, he's going to hit. It's just a matter of that. Is that where he wants to be?
First, he thought Joe Espada was joking with him before spring training, that when he asked him if he was ready to hit second, and then he realized Joe was being very serious, and he said he's fine with it wherever the team needs me. Here's Alex Bregman. Breggy, like Altuve, off to a 1-for-10 start this spring. Now that you're into your 2nd week of spring training games, start to get your rhythm and timing a little bit better. Alex saying in the offseason he anticipates a big year. He's always brimmed with confidence, but Alex feels like some of the work he did in the offseason and how good he feels physically could bode well for 24.
Well, he wants to get off to a good start, too, and that's really been the issue in the past for Alex is that month of April. If he can come out of the chute firing, those numbers are going to be big.
Pretty good pitch down by Rogers that Bregman spoils. It stays 1-2.
And he's another guy, much like Jeremy Pena, that'll work on that swing and maybe work on the hand position or where he wants that lower half to be. When we talk a lot about timing, it's also syncing up the lower half and the upper half.
There are not many major leaguers, I would say Bregman's in the top 5, that analyze their swing on a more religious basis than he does.
You know what? I played with a guy in Chicago that was very similar to Alex Bregman and also an extremely good hitter. Was Paul Konerko. He was a guy that would tinker all the time with hand position, even the minute movement of the hand or how he was holding the bat. But usually those guys have a pretty good feel for their swing, and they end up being pretty good hitters, too. I guess I should have cared more.
Stop. It takes a certain personality type, right?
Yep, it really does.
And Breggy's got that. He is the gym rat in the baseball field as he flies this one to left for the final out of the inning. So the Astros go down in order, 1-2-3. Good start for Trevor Rogers.
Houston.
2023 AL West champions in action at Astros Spring Training. Enjoy the Astros in sunny Florida as they gear up for the 2024 season at Cacti Park in the Palm Beaches. Get your tickets at astros.com/spring today. Astros had their game Sunday that was rain shortened against the New York Mets, so they didn't get their full work in out of the bullpen. But other than that day and maybe one other day early this spring, they have had some beautiful weather down there for these spring training games as Ronel Blanco quickly works ahead of Nick Gordon, 0-2.
Gosh, the baseball gods were shining down on the Astros day off, and you get a rain-shortened game the day before. Whoa, probably felt like a week they had off.
That ended right in the middle of the Astros half of the 6th inning with them leading 5-2. This ball sliced to left, and Chas McCormick makes a nice play. So our pregame guest, Chas McCormick, has to go into the corner to make a play in left field. We'll hear from his counterpart in center, Jake Myers, later on in the broadcast.
Not an easy play. That ball was actually pushed out there pretty good and tailing away from Chas, but he's a very good corner outfielder. Might be the best left fielder on the team right now.
And that's a nice advantage for a left-handed thrower on those balls slicing to the corner.
Don't have to reach across and put that glove in your vision.
Hey, here's our old buddy Trey Mancini, who was with the Cubs last year. Played 79 games for Chicago. Trey will always be part of Astros video lore, as he was the first one to congratulate Kyle Tucker when Tuck made that catch for the final out to wrap up the 2022 World Series. Swing and a miss. Mancini down to the count 1-2.
Yeah, he was in there because Yuli got hurt late in that World Series, and Trey Mancini had to come in Philadelphia. Kind of smothered a ground ball in a big situation to get a big out, so he contributed.
He got kind of joked in the post-game celebration that he was brought over for his bat. But
yeah, he ends up making a defensive play.
Right. Trey was an acquisition that year and ended up playing 51 games after coming over from Baltimore. Great guy.
Phenomenal guy. Even better story. Yeah, he's one of those guys that you will cheer for.
Absolutely. So happy to see him get an opportunity to try and make this team. He is a non-roster invitee. He's now 31 years old. Will turn 32 in just about 2 weeks as he strikes out here for the second out. Now a word from Buick GMC.
There are trucks and there's speed truck. The GMC Sierra.
Nick Fortes, the batter. Ooh, was that the change?
Could have been the change-up. Bottom fell out of that one.
Man, that was looking good. Fortes, regular catcher for the Marlins. They have a new backup now. It'll be Christian Bethancourt. This one slowly hit towards short. Moving to his right, Pena. Jeremy makes the lob over to first, knowing the catcher's running. And how about Ronel Blanco? 2 innings worth. Has faced the minimum 6 batters. No hits allowed so far. A walk and a double play in the mix. Marlins and Astros still looking for the first hit in this game as the Astros come to bat in the bottom half of the second inning. It'll be Kyle Tucker, Jose Abreu, and Yainer Diaz to face the left-hander Trevor Rogers. Rogers set down Altuve, Alvarez, and Bregman in order. Struck out Yordan, looking as he faces his second left-hander in the lineup and delivers a strike. It's 0-1. Jacob Metz is calling balls and strikes today. Angel Hernandez, Mike Estabrook, and Ryan Addington are on the base paths. Tucker sends one to center field on a line, but moving to his right, and a diving catch made by Nick Gordon. Nick Gordon laying out for a ball in center as Tucker made a bid for extra bases.
During the regular season, you get frustrated, but in the spring training, if you hit the ball hard like that and somebody makes a great play, you just tip your cap and be thankful you don't have to run around the bases. But that was a good swing off a left-handed pitcher down and away for Tuck. But Nick Gordon had other ideas and laid out and made a beautiful play in that gap.
Gordon, a guy they just acquired in the month of February 11th, in a trade from Minnesota for Stephen Okert. Here's Jose Abreu. Last year they had Jazz Chisholm Jr. patrolling center field as he moved from the infield to the outfield. He'll be back out there again this year as Jose Abreu has a count of 1-1, but Nick Gordon's a guy that can play a little bit of everywhere. He had a good season for the Twins a couple of years ago and has been dealing with injuries.
Yeah, I think he's a good athlete. You're right, the versatility helps him out, especially on the Marlins club where Skip Shoemaker's going to be moving guys around a little bit. But he's also a pretty exciting at bat from the left side, too.
Fine play by the Marlins center fielder as Abreu has a count of 1-2 and takes that pitch down. Rogers is from Carlsbad, New Mexico. He was a first-round pick out of Carlsbad High School. They're happy to have him back and healthy again this year. Miami's already announced their opening day starter with Sandy Alcantara on the 60-day IL. Jesus Luzardo will get the start opening day. Another test for Gordon. This ball struck well off the wall in left center. Abreu's going to have to hustle, and he will get in standing with a double. Abreu smokes one a few feet away from being a home run to left center.
Yeah, being told that wind is moving from left to right. So a little bit of a wind cutter almost gets out of here as it hits the top of the wall. Looked like a hanging slider out over the plate, and Abreu gets those arms extended. Thought I might have had a shot to get out of here, but I think the launch angle was just a little bit too low.
So Yainer Diaz bats. Yainer hits the ball hard, but at the first baseman, caught in the air. That's a line drive double play. Yainer hits the ball hard. No chance for Abreu to get back. That'll do it for the Astros in the second.
A ticket to the Texas Children's Houston Open and receive a free ticket to an Astros game. Get your tickets now at tchouopen.com/BOGO before this offer ends on Wednesday, March 6th. Pretty good deal right there. Reigning champ Tony Finau. He'll be back in the field.
That is going to be quite a weekend in H-Town.
Yeah, if you like golf and baseball, it's Christmas.
Easter weekend, 4 rounds of golf, and the first 4 games of the season all coinciding beginning March 28th. Here we go to the 3rd inning. This is Tristan Gray. He's a guy from right up here in Missouri City. Went to Elkins High School and then Rice University for 3 years. He made his big league debut last year with Tampa Bay, and now another guy coming over from Tampa Bay to Miami with Peter Bendix taking over in charge of the Marlins and has a count of 2-1. Gray, 27 years old, was a Pirates 13th round pick. On the corner, picking up a strike. Grinnell evens up the count 2 apiece. Trying to hold up. That could have been a called strike, but they do get the swing instead. Ryan Adamson said he went too far. That was a pretty good pitch either way.
Yeah, Blanco's looking sharp early on. Slider just dive into that outside corner. I agree with you, TK. That could have been called, but definitely got the check swing.
Now Xavier Edwards, the batter. He takes a strike at the top of the zone. Edwards, switch hitting second baseman, played 30 games last year, hit .295. That one's at the knees. Blanco filling up the zone, getting ahead 0-2. Now last year rotated between the bullpen and the starting rotation, made 3 different starts where he went 6 innings for the Astros. They were in June and early July. That one sliced to left, and that'll be down for the first hit of the game for either side. Xavier Hernandez down in the count, slices a single into left field with 1 out in the 3rd. Now a word from Reliant.
Reliant, official energy provider of the Houston Astros.
All right, let's turn it, guys. Turn 2.
Number 9 hitter Jonah Bride. Last saw him with the Oakland A's. He was there the last 2 years. 28-year-old played 40 games for the A's last season.
Turn 2, let's turn 2.
Attempt at first, and Edwards gets back. He was 5 for 5 in steals last year in 30 games. Urnell, in his third outing, would like to go 4 innings if possible. He went 2 the first outing. Tried to get through 3 last outing, but lifted after 2 2/3. So you kind of incrementally go up by an inning at a time. Urnell, the first of the Astros starters to pitch 3 different times this spring. It counts 1-1.
His fastball was at 94 miles an hour. Another slider. Now just bring the cheese.
Good ride on that fastball today.
Absolutely. He definitely sped up the bat trying to catch up to that 94 mile an hour fastball. You've got some options here.
Got him.
Good choice.
Urnell Blanco, strikeout number 4, 2 outs in the third.
The shape on the slider right now is beautiful from Urnell. Good release point with it also, but the bottom just kind of dropping out of it, showing some good angle and depth on that pitch.
Now here's Vidal Brujan. Just missed the bottom of the zone. Brujan walked his first time up. Picks up the outside corner. Brujan does not agree. It's 1-1.
Well, that's definitely a benefit, even if it is on that edge or maybe just off that outside corner. That's a benefit to Urnell Blanco for being consistently around the zone, kind of getting a rhythm with that home plate umpire.
Runner on the move, swinging a pop-up, playable. Alex Bregman drifts back and puts it away for the final out of the inning. 1 hit allowed, first hit allowed for Blanco today, but he gets through the third, still just 1 hit and no score. Tickets for the 2024 season are on sale now. Make sure you get your tickets to see your Houston Astros on their relentless pursuit for baseball's biggest prize. Visit Astros.com/SGT to get your tickets today. New pitcher, another lefty for the Marlins.
It's going to be left-hander Ryan Weathers, son of Major League veteran David Weathers. He was actually selected by the San Diego Padres in 2018, 7th overall pick in that draft. Eventually being traded over here to Miami in exchange for infielder Garrett Cooper and right-hander Sean Reynolds. There you see the numbers in 15 games last season.
Snagged by the second baseman Edwards on the ground ball off the bat of Chas McCormick. Chas retired. 1 away here in the third. Astros with just that 1 hit, a double by Jose Abreu, and he was erased on a line drive double play off the bat of Yainer Diaz. Here's Jeremy Pena. Pena 2 for 8 so far this spring. So Trevor Rogers in his first spring training outing of the year goes 2 innings. And now the guy that he is battling for that 5th spot in the rotation takes over. Ryan Weathers gets a ground ball to third, played there by Tristan Gray. And Weathers has a couple of ground outs.
Get out plays driven by Toyota. Some guys having a very good 2024 spring training. Jake Myers getting an opportunity in center field. Feeling very comfortable at the plate. A little bit of a swing adjustment we'll talk about. Of course, Mauricio Dubon moving around everywhere is off to an incredibly hot start. 3 hits in the first broadcast we had. And new guy, Victor Caratini, swinging the bat extremely well as well for the Houston Astros. That'll be a nice bat to have in the lineup and kind of waiting in the wings potentially too later in games. Vic Caratini, switch hitter.
Yeah, so we see what could be the opening day lineup today. Obviously, Caratini's going to get some starts in place of Yainer Diaz, and then we'll see Mauricio Dubon get a chance to play all over the field and get some starts. But Jake Myers was a guy they told right around the winter meetings, hey, you're our center fielder. We're not going out and trying to upgrade at center field. You're our guy. It's been a while since Jake's been fully healthy. There is the physical issue about being healthy, and then there's kind of the mental hurdle to get over about feeling completely healthy and letting things go with that shoulder.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with trust as he takes ball four pitches out of the zone. It's trust and confidence, because the Astros have seen, they know the talent, they've seen flashes of brilliance. They're just waiting for him to put it all together and trust it and go out there and play consistently every single day. That's one thing we haven't seen, because there's been spurts where we're going, that could be the guy.
That was a 4-pitch walk, so not quite indicative, but he has done a good job of controlling the zone this spring. That's the 5th time he's walked this spring, but then he gets picked off here on the first move from Weathers. So that'll do it for the Astros in the 3rd. The Astros have had 2 base runners, and both have been wiped off the base paths. Altuve will lead off the bottom of the 4th instead.
Welcome back to West Palm Beach. Time to play Name That Astro, powered by Reliant. We are going to give you 3 clues. 21st century, athletic debut, monster catch. If you know who that Astro is, make sure you jot down that guess or get to us on social media, and then stay tuned, because we'll get back to you with the answer to Name That Astro. New pitcher in this ball game. We'll get a good look at the right-hander. Stratman coming into this game, he's got sink, slide, change. He's got a little low 3/4 delivery. You can see that arm side run. What's kind of interesting about him and the potential maybe to be in that bullpen for the Astros, there's Drew, is the fact that he's got a little bit different arm angle, different movement to his pitches. Not a high velocity type guy, but can move the baseball around the zone and create a lot of ground balls.
Well, there are definitely spots open in that middle relief corps. That bridge between the starter and the closer, or even the 7th and 8th inning guys, is wide open for this Astros spring training. Stratman delivers a strike, is 3-1. Drew is appearing in his 4th game of the spring. He becomes the first Astros pitcher to appear in 4 games. We'll have others that appear in their 4th game later on today, but that is not the way Drew wanted to start, with a 5-pitch walk to the number 2 hitter, John Birdie. Good outing for Ronel Blanco today.
He looked magnificent. And I think for Ronel, it's just a matter of kind of channeling that spring training Ronel and bringing him to the show. When the lights hit after, March 28th, can he continue to be that guy? Because the stuff in spring training looks absolutely electric.
Oh, Brian De La Cruz, the batter. De La Cruz grounded into a double play his first time up. 43 pitches today for Ronel in 3 shutout innings. He allowed 1 hit and 1 walk. He struck out 4, got a double play in the mix. Good day's work for Ronel Blanco. We'll be on the air again tomorrow when the Mets take on the Astros from the Cacti Park at the Palm Beaches. Framber Valdez will make his 2nd start of the spring. Oh, and 2 the count. Stratman working ahead of De La Cruz. Runner on the go. The pitch is down. The throw is a little bit late. John Birdie, who stole 16 bags last year, has a stolen base here in scoring position with nobody out.
Pretty good jump on Stratman. Tough exchange for Yainer Diaz, but teams have been running on the Astros in this spring training.
Got under this one and pops it high in the air into left field. Chas McCormick doesn't have to move very far. Puts it away. Brian De La Cruz, the first out of the inning. Stratman is 27 years old. He has pitched in the minor league system of 4 different organizations before joining the Astros. He was originally a Tampa Bay Rays draft pick in 2017 in the 4th round out of St. Mary's College. And he's pitched with the Twins minor leaguers, the Rangers, the Giants, and now joining his 5th organization coming over to Houston. This is wide to Nick Gordon. It's 1-0. Gordon flied out to the corner in left field his first time up. Sliced one the other way. Chaz made a nice play on it. Tried to hold up on a pitch down. He goes too far, says Jacob Metz. It's 1-1. Astros originally had 62 in their camp, 62 players on their spring training roster, including non-roster invitees. That number was reduced by 7 yesterday, so they're down to 55. AJ Blueball, Colton Gordon, Rhett Kuba, all pitchers sent down. Miguel Palma, a catcher, was sent down. And then some guys that might push to try and get to the big leagues later on this year as Jeremy Pena makes the play. Will Wagner, Jacob Melton, Zach DeCenzo all sent down. Space City Home Network has all your Rockets coverage. Stay tuned to watch the Rockets take on the Spurs tonight. Coverage starts at 6:30 with the Rockets pregame show presented by Lexus. On that ground ball to Jeremy Pena, Nick Gordon grounds out, and John Birdie moves over to third. Now Trey Mancini bats. Mancini takes a pitch in for a ball. Last year with the Cubs, hit .234, 4 home runs. See that fastball riding in. It's 2-0.
Now, command a little elusive coming into this game. In 3 2/3 innings, Strotman had 3 walks.
And that's one of the key areas, obviously, they're going to focus in on is getting outs primarily, but also not issuing free passes. And some of the guys that have been vying for that spot in the bullpen have been a little wild. That's a 4-pitch walk. The last one not even close, as Strotman has allowed 2 walks in this inning. Drew walked 2, an outing we had against the Washington Nationals in an inning and 2/3, and his last outing walked 1 Cardinal in an inning of work. Now he's walked 2 again, so 5 walks in his last 3 1/3 innings. Here's Nick Fortes. There's a strike, bottom of the zone. We also anticipate seeing Seth Martinez later on today. Misael Tamarez will pitch. Wander Suero, Ray Gaither. Just off the plate, 2-1. Wouldn't chase the slider. That one's down, and the count's 3-1. Strotman last year pitched for Sacramento, the AAA team of the San Francisco Giants, made 13 starts and 19 relief appearances. Walks were an issue last year. 73 walks in 97 1/3 innings, but you can see the stuff. That's what has people excited.
Yeah, the sinker slider obviously work extremely well, you know, splitting the plate, going to both sides, but at the same time, it's got to be tough as a pitcher knowing you have that kind of movement, and you just got to force yourself to throw it down the middle and let it move. Because you're seeing it's locking up some of these hitters where they're kind of guessing, is it going to stay in the zone, is it not? And then the movement, what am I going to do with this two-seamer if I'm a right-hander? Because if you're not sitting there ready to open up on a two-seam fastball, it can beat you in and pound it into the ground. That's what Strotman's trying to do, is really get that sinker in on the hands to create the ground ball and use that defense behind him.
Fortes stays alive, 3-2.
Sometimes if you're not finding that zone, though, as an infielder, you kind of start moving back on your heels a little bit. You're not going to get the jump you need on some of those ground balls. Oh my gosh.
That's hit the
Called
hand.
foul ball. They call foul ball or not? They're going to let him go?
It sounded like it hit the bat, but apparently it hit the hand or the
I agree.
arm area. But that's going to be a hit by pitch, a pitch that bore in on Fortes. Joe Spot is claiming to hit the bat.
That definitely got the hands, but it looked like the barrel went around like a swing. That's a tough call.
That is a tough call.
Jacob Metz wore the bat flip, though.
Yeah, he did. So that'll be the third free pass. 2 walks and a hit by pitch. So Josh Miller out there to have a word with Drew Strotman. We mentioned Strotman pitching for 4 different teams in the minor leagues. 4 different teams he's pitched at the AAA level. So he has been right on the cusp of making a breakthrough to the big leagues, but just hasn't quite gotten there yet. He's trying to make an impression with the Astros, but 2 walks and a hit batter here. Tristan Gray will bat with 2 outs. Goes after that first pitch breaking ball, 0-1. Long inning for Strotman. He's now closing in on 30 pitches here in the 4th. Ronel Blanco needed just 43 pitches to get through the first 3 innings. That's away, 1-2. Tristan Gray, a non-roster invitee into camp. He'll turn 28 about 2.5 weeks. Dude.
If you got a 2-seam fastball, it's not where you want to be with his elevated. And you could really see the emphasis of Yainer Diaz getting in that down and away corner, trying to give him. That one went around the plate.
Tough take with 2 strikes.
Wanted that one down and in. You can tell where Yainer wants the pitch. He's giving him a good target.
Yeah, when you have a guy that's a little scattered with command, a lot of times they'll just set up middle. Just try, and again, his
just get it in the vicinity
so much.
Right.
You don't want to set up on an edge.
That's exactly right. There you go. That was right down the middle.
Picks up a strikeout to end the inning. Couple of walks and a hit batter, but a shutout 4th. fourth inning, Astros will have the top of their order. Due up again, Jose Altuve, Yordan Alvarez, Alex Bregman, the new look top of the order for the Astros. Altuve grounded out his first time up. He was actually at the plate last inning, but before he saw a pitch, Jake Myers was picked off by Ryan Weathers after Weathers had walked Jake with a couple of groundouts preceding that. So here is Altuve. Jose picked up his first base hit a couple of games ago. First base hit of the spring. Played 90 games last year. It was the first year that Altuve did not qualify with enough at-bats in his big league career. Go with a couple of injuries, one from the World Baseball Classic and one during the regular season. Goes after that breaking ball in the dirt. It's 1-2. Weathers tried to get him to bite on a pitch on the outside edge. It's 2-2. Jose signing a 5-year extension to his contract, making him an Astro for life this offseason. Misses the fastball there, and Weathers picks up his first strikeout. One away here in the fourth.
Today's power play is presented by HEB. How about a comparison with Carlos Beltran from 2004, a historic postseason run in 12 games for Carlos Beltran. 435, 8 home runs, 14 RBIs. Compare that to last season in 11 games. Yordan Alvarez not getting to that home run plateau, but 15 RBIs and his OPS almost at 1,500. Pretty strong comparison, and maybe an overlooked postseason for Yordan Alvarez, who put up big numbers again.
Yeah, we loved him. We were talking about him every pre- and post-game show because he was the best player in baseball in the playoffs. It wasn't even close.
Not even.
There was nobody else in baseball, and I know Adolis Garcia had a huge finish to that ALCS and then in the World Series, but what Yordan did in those first 2 rounds of the playoffs, there was nobody close to him. Struck out his first time up as he faces another lefty here, and Yordan has gone down for a second time. Weathers with back-to-back strikeouts, getting Altuve and Alvarez. Ryan Weathers with 2 men out, nobody on, will now face Alex Bregman. Weathers was originally a first-round pick out of high school by the Padres. Plummer mentioned, son of former Major League pitcher David Weathers. Debuted with the Padres as a 21-year-old. And then traded last August right at the deadline from the Padres to the Marlins for Sean Reynolds and Garrett Cooper. Alex Bregman retired. That's the final out of the fourth. Another good inning for Weathers as the Marlins have faced the minimum. We are joined by the skipper of the Houston Astros, Joe Espada. Marlins and Astros scoreless. Joe, welcome in. Good to talk to you again. As we look at this lineup, it's exciting because this, I guess this could be what we see opening day, right?
It could be, yes. Really, really close. Potentially it could be the opening day lineup. Yeah. So it's close.
How close?
It's close.
I love it. Good to be on with you, Joe. Hey, this spring, it's kind of interesting to me to see how healthy and how energetic this potential starting lineup is. How important is it to have these guys healthy and getting their at-bats early in spring?
Yeah, they, credit to them. They really got after it in the offseason. And they all put the right foot forward. in the off season, and they all said, Joe, you know what, we'll be ready to play from the get-go. And you know, even the work that they're doing early in the morning, it's just been phenomenal. I am really happy where we at right now, and where their bodies and their minds are right now. It's very encouraging, man. It's awesome.
Wander Suero, the new pitcher for the Astros, former Washington National, also pitched a few games with the Dodgers, gets a ground ball to shortstop to start this inning. Speaking of that, Joe, with the work these guys have put in, how important was it to get a breather yesterday? You guys finally got an off day after grinding through the first part of spring training.
Yeah, it was important. You know, we've been going hard for 2 weeks, so we actually had a low volume day on Sunday, so I tried to give them a little day and a half of, you know, of light work, so because we have 15 straight, so but the quality of work they've done for 2 weeks has been really good, and I like the effort, the attention to details, you know, questions they're asking. We are heading, we're in the right direction.
From the outside looking in, obviously we're not there on a daily basis. Seems like a boring spring training, and that's kind of how you want spring to be. Has there been any surprises for you in spring that we don't know about or we haven't seen?
You know, I think, you know, when it comes to the guys on the field right now, right, like our veteran group, they're kind of, like you said, they're a little bit boring looking, but their work is quality, and they know exactly what they need, and our jobs coaches just provide that environment for them to get their work in and get them off their legs. But you know, I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about some of our young players that are performing really well in early camp, and again, because we at some point, you know, we're going to need this new generations of players to come up and provide help, coverage, you know, either on the mound or position player wise. So we are in a really good spot, and I've been impressed with a lot of our young players.
Joe, the news today, Justin Verlander will start the season on the IL. Not a surprise, because the calendar, we're starting to get to that point where he wasn't going to have enough time. I don't think we're going to have time to talk to you about him, but hey, thanks.
Oh man, let's do it next inning. Can we stay and do another inning or no?
Yes,
you're the best.
You are the best.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll come back and we talk.
All right, buddy,
yeah, you got
perfect.
it. Yeah, you got it.
Baseball on Space City Home Network is presented by SaberCats. Watch Houston SaberCats professional rugby Sundays on Space City Home Network. Check your local listings for times. Go Cats. And by Big City Wings. Sports, beer, and great food. Houston's wing joint is Big City Wings. Joe Espada has graciously decided to join us for another half inning. Joe, we were talking about Justin Verlander. No setback, no surprise. Basically, you just ran out of time with him, right?
Yeah, you know, he hasn't faced any live hitters, so we're just doing what's best for JV and what's best for the club. So there's no reason to rush when we know that, you know, we need him from the long haul. And so we had a conversation today, and we just do what, you know, we're just doing what's best for him and for our team.
Once he makes that first spring training start, is it roughly about 4 weeks or a month, basically? Is that about it?
Yeah, you know, once he starts facing live hitters, it'll probably be another 3 or 4 live BPs before you could get him like into a game action, right? So I think like 3-4 weeks is kind of like the timeline. Yes, that's what something like that will look like. And you know, JV is a guy that he's done it and he's strong, so it could be shorter than that. It just, we wanted to make sure that we pause and make sure that we're being smart about what will be the next move.
And it's kind of interesting that you do have some other healthy arms in that rotation, but the guy that started the game today, Ronel Blanco, his spring trainings the last couple of years have been absolutely electric, and he looks great in spring again. What are you seeing from Ronel, and what are the expectations possibly for him?
You know, Ronel Blanco just needed an opportunity. He needed a chance. You know, he's always had some really good stuff, and he's someone that, you know, from the very beginning when Dana got here, he really liked his stuff. He really liked the way he spins the ball, the fastball. And, you know, we all said, you know, let's give this guy an opportunity. And he has, you know, taken advantage of that opportunity. But again, he's that guy that can provide some depth. You know, JP France will throw a live BP tomorrow. So that's also some really good news. So, you know, we do have the pitching to sustain some of that, JV not being around for a start or two.
So JP France, that is good news, live BP. So
yes.
He may be close to opening day, it sounds like.
Yeah, he should be, if there's no setback, he should be fine. He should be ready to go for opening day, yes.
Tomorrow, Joe, today we see your A lineup. Tomorrow, it seems like you have guys that you want to play that are maybe going for those last couple of roster spots. Is that intentional? Like, hey, look at the competition. We're all going against each other here?
Yes, and that's the whole idea. We do have a few spots, and I want to make sure that we all get a chance to see them, but I also want them to get on the field at the same time because they know, these guys, they know how to do the math, and they know our team it's put together, and they know the pieces that are missing, and they're competing and they're getting after it. So we're pretty soon we're going to start going back to back. So over the weekend we'll start getting these guys some back-to-back starts.
And how much fun is it going to be to start moving in? We saw Josh Hader throw the other day. How fun is it going to be to start getting those guys ready to go? The Brian Abreu's, the Ryan Presleys, and Haders.
Oh, it could be exciting. They are. It's exciting to watch. They are. So what they mean to our team and how dynamic they are in there when they throw their bullpens and their conversations, and how confident just trickles down through the whole entire staff, just because we know that we just need to get to those last 3 innings of the game, and so competition for the first time in a long time, and you guys are going to start seeing some of these competitions, some of these names starting to narrow. We need to start narrowing down some of these names here pretty soon.
Thanks for the extra time, Joe. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, guys. Take care. All right, see ya.
Pan pizza is Domino's best kept secret. It's handmade with fresh, never frozen dough.
A new pitcher on the mound. It will be their 4th pitcher of this ball game. Taylor Scott out of Johannesburg, South Africa. Last season, pitched with 3 different ball clubs, Dodgers, Red Sox, and A's. He had 18 games, 2 starts. At ERA was 5.60.
So Scott takes over after a 9-pitch, 1-2-3 5th inning from Wander Suero. Didn't have much time to talk about him because we're talking about Joe Espada, or talking with Joe Espada. But now Taylor Scott taking over here in the 6th inning. Only 1 hit for each side. This one popped high in the air to the right side. Jose Abreu will put it away. And that's 2 pitches and 1 out for Scott. Plummer mentioned he's out of Johannesburg. He is the first South African to ever pitch in the major leagues. And you can see he wears the country flag right there on his glove. Also has the colors of the flag on his left wrist with the beads. And a proud South African who became the first ever to pitch in the major leagues. He's now 31 years old. He also pitched in Japan in 2020 and 2021. So he became the first South African ever to pitch at the big league level in Japan as well.
Yeah, he's got some frequent flyer miles probably, huh?
Woo. Here's a pop up to short. Jeremy Pena is there. And the offenses continue to be shut down by both pitching staffs. Now a message from Fubo.
Space City Home Network is now streaming on Fubo. Try free at FuboTV.com.
Taylor Scott started his career pitching with both the Mariners and the Orioles in 2019. That ball is ripped into right center field, down for a hit. Good swing from Nick Gordon. He'll hold on at first as the Astros get the ball back in. Just the 2nd hit allowed by Astros pitching today. Gordon, a 2-out base runner.
Scott's had himself a pretty good spring coming into this game. 4 innings, hasn't allowed an earned run. He's only allowed, that's a 2nd hit he's actually allowed this spring. That base hit by Nick Gordon. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. You can see with his movement, he is all around the plate throwing some good strikes early.
And Taylor Scott can do the math. If this was past spring trainings, we would think about, all right, he's an extra guy that you can have down in the minor leagues that may be good backup, but he's a guy who can make the roster if he continues to pitch like this.
I would imagine it's got to be pretty interesting for some of these guys that aren't marquee back into the bullpen type guys who might be able to fill that middle role, give you an inning, give you 2 innings, and be that so-called bridge that we talk about getting from the starter to the back end of that bullpen. But on a team like the Astros, who are perennial ALCS appearance type team, that there are openings in that bullpen for some of these guys to make.
Second.
Not many other openings across the roster.
No. No, that's your main opportunity, is if you're a reliever or you've got a couple of bench spots that are available. But as Joe Espada said, a lot of those guys will be playing in tomorrow's game. Get a little competition head-to-head tomorrow. Pitch is just off the plate. Pretty good pitch. Counts 2-1.
This pitches like that, it's not going to help Yiner's framing numbers.
This could be the last year of framing numbers.
Promise? I'm just kidding.
It sounds that way.
Yeah, it does.
Runner on the go, and the throw gets by Altuve and into center field. No advancement, so no error. Just be a strict stolen base there for Nick Gordon.
Good pitch to run on for Nick Gordon. That was a slider to the outside. You can see Yiner reach for it, and Altuve trying to be too quick to make the tag. Doesn't get a glove on it.
Counts 3-1 now to Trey Mancini. Mancini hits the ball hard. What a diving stop, Jeremy Pena. And he retires his former teammate to end the inning. JP3 getting it done with the glove.
He's gold. The latest hats, shirts, jerseys, and commemorative items today. Visit Astros.com/team store for store hours and more info.
Well, Ryan Weathers is making quite an impression if he's trying to get that 5th spot in the rotation for the Marlins. He has really shut down the Houston Astros here. 3 innings of work. He has faced the minimum. In fact, the Astros have sent the minimum to the plate through 5 innings between Trevor Rogers, the starter, and Ryan Weathers. Weathers has struck out 4 in his 3 innings of work as he gets ahead of Chas McCormick 1-2.
They've got to be happy with the velocity. He has been 92, topping out at 95 with that fastball, but that slider's proven to be very difficult for Astro hitters to try and square up.
Pitch up. Weathers last year made 10 starts for the Padres, a couple of starts for the Marlins. Also came out of the bullpen a total of 3 times last year. You know, I was looking during the break at his father's numbers. I didn't realize his father, David, was top 20 all time in games pitched. He pitched in 964 games in his career.
He pitched forever.
19 seasons.
19 years, yeah.
Crazy.
He was on the 96 New York Yankees World Series team. I mean, he pitched forever. I faced him a bunch, too.
Mostly in the National League. Just a little bit of time in the AL.
Remember pitching a lot with Cincinnati.
Yep. There's only been 16 pitchers all time that have pitched 1,000 games or more. We happen to have the guy who pitched the 2nd most games in the history of the big leagues as our pre- and post-game host, Mike Stanton.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Mike, 2nd all time behind Jesse Orozco. Mike pitched in 1,178 games. But David Weathers, 964. I did not realize. I knew he pitched for a while. I did not realize he was top 20 all time in games pitched, behind Todd Jones and ahead of Fernando Rodney.
I feel like once you get over 700, you kind of get into that rarefied air, but that's extensive.
Now Ryan, not only is he not a right-hander, but he's a starting pitcher primarily as he gives up this base hit to Chas McCormick. So the Astros get their first knock against the lefty Weathers. McCormick, a leadoff runner here in the 6th. How about the play to end the 5th?
This is nice. We know that Jeremy Pena already has 1 gold glove under his belt. Right here, he picked up Taylor Scott. That's kind of the fun of pitching with this defense behind you, is you've got plenty of range. And even without the shift being implemented, you've got a hyper-athletic shortstop in Jeremy Pena still making great plays.
See if the Astros can do something with their base runners. They have not had base runners on base for very long today. right after Jose Abreu doubled in the second inning, he got doubled up on a line drive off the bat of Yainer Diaz. So he was on base for a mere seconds. And then even shorter was Jake Myers. Before a pitch was thrown to Jose Altuve, he got picked off first. Chas McCormick will stay on the base as he goes to second on this ground ball. Back to the pitcher. Pena retired for the first out of the inning. And now a word from Taqueria Cervantes.
And remember, my favorite food is at Taqueria Cervantes.
Sabroso, sabrosito.
We actually have a pinch runner in the game, so Kennedy Corona moved to second base. So Chas McCormick's day is done, which means this is probably the final at bat for Jake Myers. So when Jake Myers' day is done, he's going to join us on the broadcast. Jake walked on 4 pitches his first time up as he sees a 5th pitch out of the zone here. Jake up to 5 walks on the spring. Came in with an on-base percentage of .615 this spring. He was 4 for 9 with 4 walks. It's pretty healthy on-base percentage. I know it's early.
That's strong, too. And like we were talking about in the open, this bottom part of the order, if they can continue to get on base, it will really benefit the Astros' possibilities in scoring a lot of runs, because Jake, being down in that 9 spot, has the speed to steal a bag if you need him to, but he also has the ability to score from first base on a ball in the gap. And that's probably the biggest thing, knowing that when you turn it back over to Altuve, Alvarez, and Bregman, that you've got some wheels out there to score on some of those gap shots, or you drive yourself in.
Jake Myers making a bid, but hooking one foul. Pretty good swing.
That was a very good swing.
3 of his 4 hits this spring have been doubles.
Does he have the flip downs? Are you kidding me? Guy at the bar has the flip downs when he's making orders, I think. Yeah, that was a good quick bat from Jake Myers.
Try to hold up. Does he?
Good question.
2-1.
He did.
Yes. Yeah, flip downs. You don't often see that in the crowd.
No.
Yeah.
Man, you rarely see it on the field, let alone at the left field tiki hut.
Another good swing. That's a line drive. That'll be an out. But
man,
when we talk to Jake Myers, we can talk to him about what you said after Kyle Tucker lined out, that you don't mind these in spring training.
These are good spring training at bats, because you can say, man, I hit that ball hard. I don't have to run the bases. So it's a win-win in the sense that you hit the ball hard and you don't have to exhaust yourself, because once you get back to the dugout, everybody's slapping you on the backside, high-fiving you, going, man, nice swing.
So now Jose Altuve will get a 3rd at bat. Altuve chops one towards short, played there by the new shortstop Amaya, and he'll make the play for the final out of the inning. So that'll do it. Jacob Amaya throws out Jose Altuve. We're still scoreless.
Are presented by Houston Methodist. And how about the Astros outs above average leaders since 2017 with 183. In a distant second are the Arizona Diamondbacks. Behind them, the Guardians, Brewers, Cubs, and Royals. The Astros do a very good job of having athletic outfielders to track down fly balls. But we also talked about a couple of Gold Glovers on the infield with the ability to go out there and make some plays. So a very good defense behind some of this pitching that's already good, made better by the defense.
New pitcher for the Astros, up and in from Misiel Tamares as he delivers his first pitch of the 7th inning. And it's ball 1.
He signed as a free agent, non-drafted free agent back in March of 2019. He's got an electric right arm. That last pitch, 93 miles an hour.
Veteran catcher Kurt Casale at the plate. He's now in there. Casale gets into one to left field, sending the new left fielder all the way back to the track, and he makes the catch. Is that Kennedy Corona out there?
Corona,
who was the pinch runner for Chas McCormick, stays in the game and plays left field and makes that catch. We have a whole new outfield. Looks like Joey Loperfido's in center field, as Jake Myers will join us on the headset here in a little while. There's Loperfido. believe Trey Cabbage might be in right. Some guys have stayed on in the infield.
I think the only two left are Abreu and Bregman. Got Cesar Salazar behind the plate.
Yep, new catcher. Yeah, I think you're right. It's just the corner infielders, Bregman and Abreu, who said, I want a third at bat. Now, Tuve got a third at bat. Why can't we? Although we don't know. Jordan still might be in there.
Yep.
But there's Breggy. And there's Abreu. So we got two guys still in the lineup from the original group of what we think is potentially. Joe wouldn't say it officially.
No.
But he said it was close. Close.
How close? Close.
Close.
Such a manager answer, too, you know? He's already in midseason form with some of his retorts to the media.
See the games you want with the flexibility you deserve with the Astros mini plans. It's Astros baseball in your terms. Learn more and build your mini plan today at astros.com/mini plans. And I think the reason why he did that, not for Victor Caratini. Caratini knows that he's the backup catcher to Yainer Diaz, obviously. Well, we'll talk about this on another inning.
Beautiful.
This game.
We're moving.
We're moving. It was from Mauricio Dubon, I think. Because Dubon wants to think, I still have a chance to be in the opening day lineup. No score, 7th inning stretch. Marlins and Astros scoreless. Quite a pitcher's duel on both sides. 2 hits for each. But one of the guys who's having good at-bats not only today, but all spring long joins us on headset from the dugout. Jake Myers. Jake, how good do you feel early in the spring right now?
Yeah, I feel really good. It's been awesome to get some ABs so far and just kind of get back into the rhythm of things.
This offseason, it looks like you worked on a little bit, maybe a new hand position. Is that true? And why did you make that move?
I had done it in the past. I think 20 or 21, I'd messed around with it a little bit. But I've always kind of had my hands up and the bat on my shoulder. And I felt that kind of what my mistake was last year. I think it kind of helped me feel a little bit more comfortable, put my hands out in front of me, and I'm feeling really good doing it.
George Soriano, the new pitcher, Corey Julks pinch hitting for Yordan Alvarez. Earlier in the game, Blummer was talking about Kyle Tucker hitting a line drive out, and he said, hey, in spring training, you don't mind as long as you hit the ball well. You smoked that last ball. You take that away as feeling good about your at-bat, or still a little frustrating even if it's spring?
I want to go up to the plate, look for a good pitch to hit and barrel it. And I feel like I did that my last at bat. And so, I'm gonna take it back with me that's a good AB.
Seriously, though, how nice is it in spring training to smoke a baseball, put together a great at bat? You know, you're laying off some pitches, you foul one off, and then you smoke one right at somebody, and you know you don't have to run.
That's a lot of fun when that happens.
Speaking of taking some close pitches, as Schultz tries to beat the throw, but play is made by Amaya for the first out. You've drawn 5 walks already this spring. Is that a product of both trying to see a lot of pitches early in the spring, but also really trying to work on your plate discipline too?
Yeah, again, I'm just trying to get a good pitch to hit, and I've been working on kind of locking in an approach, and yeah, if they're not going to throw over the plate, I want to be really good at not swinging at it.
How important is that, knowing that you're going to be in this lineup at the bottom part? Because, you know, that 7, 8, 9 are going to be important in this lineup, just because if you are all able to get on base and flip this lineup to get some real run producers out there, it's kind of paramount to put together some great at-bats and be good on the bases, isn't it?
Absolutely. Like you said, this is an unbelievable lineup to be a part of, unbelievable team. And whatever I can do to help the team win, and I know getting on base and producing with them will help win.
How much did it mean to you going into spring training and maybe having that first meeting with Joe Espada and him telling you that you're going to be that center fielder?
Yeah, it was awesome to hear that support. it was a lot of fun for me to hear that. But on a daily basis, I'm just trying to focus on getting better today and just trying to do that during the season, just focus on the day and do whatever I can to help the team win.
Julia's our pre- and post-game host today. She's not on the broadcast, obviously, or she'd be talking to you right now. But when she always talks about you and Chaz, how close you are. And in the past, you guys stayed incredibly close, even when you were fighting for at-bats against each other. Now you're playing in the same outfield together. That's got to be fun. And how much does Chaz talk in the outfield during the course of an inning?
Yeah, it's awesome. Chaz has been one of my best buddies on the team since I got called up. And it's just been really fun kind of getting close to him and playing ball with him in general. So it'll be a lot of fun to play with him out there. As far as how much he talk, I think it's a day-by-day basis. Sometimes he doesn't talk a whole lot, and sometimes, he'll chirp me out there.
Okay, so what's it like when you two are not on the field? What are you guys doing off the field? You guys hang out together even off the field?
Yeah. I mean, we just like to have fun. It's 162 games. It's a long season, and in between there can be some downtime. And so, us and a couple other guys on the team just like to have fun and keep it light and kind of enjoy the moment.
One of the interesting things for an outfielder is Trey Cabbage gets an at-bat here after Alex Bregman drew a walk and his day is done. Cabbage goes down looking. Is the conditions, Jake, that you deal with in spring training are probably more difficult than anything you'll deal with in the regular season? It's always tough, right, in the spring between the high skies, the sun, the wind. It's not easy to play outfield in spring training games, is it?
Yeah, it can be tough. Sometimes the seats, you have a glare on the seats, can't quite see it off the bat. The high sky, the sun. But man, it's great to kind of get those reps, especially for the day games like in Oakland and New York. Get those under your belt for those big times.
A couple of outs in this inning, and Jose Abreu at the plate.
Abreu batting here with a runner on first and 2 outs. Jake, I know everybody else who's left the game is already down in the clubhouse. So after this half inning, we want you to get a head start and get on your way. But we really, really appreciate you coming on, and we're looking forward to seeing you again later on this spring and obviously in the regular season.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Jake, have a good one, man.
Have a good one.
Was that Breggy just taking over? Breggy just took over his interview spot.
I was going to say, it was Kennedy Corona earlier.
Alex Bregman just kind of just shielding Jake Myers, but we appreciate Jake for coming on headset with us. Here's Jose Abreu with the 2-2 count. He goes down on strike. So the pitching continues to dominate this game. Astros drew a walk, and they will head to the 8th scoreless.
All alcohol sales related.
You're back, and Space City Home Network has your spring training coverage presented by Whataburger. Join us tomorrow for a matchup with the New York Mets. Coverage starts at 11:30 a.m. only on Space City Home Network.
All right, here we go into the 8th inning. This has been an incredible pitcher's duel. 2 hits for each side. Just dominant arms today. It all started out with Ronel Blanco, 3 shutout innings of 1-hit baseball. Drew Strotman's the one guy who had a little bit of command issues, but still threw a shutout 4th. Wander Suero, a 9-pitch 5th. Taylor Scott, impressive in the 6th. And now Misiel Tamarez is out there for his 2nd inning of work after getting a walk and then a double play in that last inning.
Yeah, the pitching has been impressive. It has been sharp.
Marlins have gone to a lot of their backups from their original lineup, but Jonah Bride still in the game. This will be his 3rd at bat. Bride has struck out and popped up. The Astros have one of their regulars, one of their starters still in the game. The 37-year-old Jose Abreu said, I want to play more. Keep me out here. So he's still in the game. We expected to see John Singleton at some point today. We may not see John, as Abreu might go the whole 9. This ball to deep left, and we are on the board with our first run of the game. Jonah Bride, who last year in 40 games with the Oakland A's did not hit any home runs. Hits one out, just clearing the wall in left. And that'll be the first run for either side.
Some late life on that fly ball to left field. Gets Jonah Bride that spring training home run. Elevated off speed. He barreled it up, just shot it straight into the sky. Just refused to come down until it was past the fence. First run of this game.
Kennedy Corona gave it an effort, but just beyond the wall. And now Victor Mesa Jr., the batter. It's a 22-year-old who is number 4 on the Marlins in their MLB Pipeline top 30 prospects. MLB Pipeline came out with the top 30 prospects for the NL East and the AL East yesterday. Tomorrow, they'll come out with the top 30 for the NL West and AL West. So we'll see how the Astros players rank today with the Central Divisions. This one grounded short softly to first, and Abreu is there for the first out of the 8th.
This Whataburger, what a play is presented by Whataburger. And how about in the 9th inning, coming in a defensive replacement, Greg Kessinger with a huge play in this game 5 of the ALCS last season. Had a chance to have an impact on that huge game that we eventually won with a home run from Jose Altuve.
There is Gray. He took over at shortstop for Jeremy Pena last inning. David Hensley has now taken over for Alex Bregman at third this inning. So you've got Hensley, Kessinger, Shea Whitcomb in for Altuve, and Jose Abreu still in there. And then the outfield is Kennedy Corona, Joey Loperfido, and Trey Cabbage. There's David Hensley. That one fouled back. It's 1-2. Shea Whitcomb in the game at second base. Astros anticipate seeing guys like Joey Loperfido, Kennedy Corona, and Shea Whitcomb starting games tomorrow against the Mets. So these are guys that are, you know, Joe Espada said, these guys know what the situation is. There's a swing and a miss, and that's the first strikeout for tomorrow. That was the left-hand hitting son of Jeff Conine, Griffin Conine, going down on strikes. Mr. Marlin, Jeff Conine, his son Griffin, coming over in a trade and getting his first at bat here of this game. Originally was a Blue Jay in the minor leagues. This is Jacob Amaya. He took over at shortstop. Amaya, number 9 on the MLB Pipeline. He's part of the 40-man roster as he goes down on strike. So Tamarez, after that leadoff home run, comes back to get a soft ground ball and 2 quick strikeouts. We head to the bottom of the 8th. 1-0 Marlins.
+250 spring training games and every out-of-market game live or on demand. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
On we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Astros searching for a run as they have given up the first run of the game. This is Cesar Salazar getting his first at bat. Salazar, after Yainer Diaz went 0 for 2. Hitting here to lead off the 8th. Cesar Salazar, a good example, along with Corey Julks from last spring, of if you're one of those guys who isn't sure if they have a shot to make the team or not. Last year we were talking about Corey Lee or Yainer Diaz, who would be the backup, and next thing you know, Cesar Salazar's on the opening day roster. Same thing happened with Julks. We were talking a lot about Justin Bearden and his spring, and Julks ended up making it. So A lot of these guys that are playing now and that are going to start tomorrow, there's probably 4 or 5 core guys that are in the battle for 2 bench spots, but there's probably a few other guys that don't even realize they have a better shot than they might think based on what happened last year.
I agree. You just never know. Comes down to needs. I mean, there are a lot of things coming into the factors of needs of the team, and then you look at the first 21 games in 22 days or whatever it is. There's an extensive situation coming out of spring training where you're going to have a lot of games played, so you're going to need to get guys off their legs early on because you don't want to blow them out position player-wise too early. You've got to protect them, and then you've got to protect that rotation too. So there are going to be some interesting moves maybe towards the end of spring that maybe we weren't anticipating, like TK was saying about Cesar Salazar and Corey Julks last season, who got onto the roster. And you saw what happened to Corey Julks. I mean, he played extremely well.
There's Kennedy Corona. Corona's going to be fairly high on that list of MLB Pipeline top 30 Astro prospects. You would think tomorrow he can go get it in the outfield. Still very young in his minor league career. Kennedy Corona, just 23 years old. He's out of Maracaibo, Venezuela. He was acquired from the Mets in that Jake Marisnick deal last year. Spent most of his season at Corpus Christi. Pitch missing wide, 2-1. Brian Hoeing is the new pitcher for the Marlins, right-hander.
Big right-hander, 6'6". Comes downhill with a fastball around 94. Throws slider fastball mostly. It does have the occasional changeup.
To short, they get the turn, they get the out there. With Corona running, it's probably not going to be a double play anyhow, but bobbling the ball was Jose Devers on the transfer. He does get the out in second. What's on tap is presented by Art Car IPA. Here are the new rules on tap for 2024. Some changes. Used to be the pitch clock with runners on was 20 seconds, and when nobody was on base was 15. It'll still be 15 seconds with nobody on, but now 18 seconds when runners are on base. The first base line has been extended, so you can run anywhere in the dirt area, even if it's in fair territory down the first base line. That is no longer going to be called for running in the lane, or running outside the lane rather, and
no blocking second base on a lot of those stolen bases where you see a guy drop a knee. That's to save both the runner and the fielder, because most of the time these guys are diving straight in head first into a bag, and if you have a knee down, that's jammed elbow, wrist, hands, fingers getting broken and things like that. So more to protect those base runners out on the base paths. But at the same time, I don't think the clock is going to be a huge change. 2 seconds with runners on base, I don't think that's a big deal. But the one with the base runner running down first base, I think that one will be one that we will appreciate, because there's been some kind of shadiness to some of the calls on the inside of the diamond, because the base is on the inside of the diamond.
Right.
So give the base runner a little bit bigger lane to actually run towards the bag. I think that's very astute and something that was very smart and needed to be taken care of, because a lot of the times that call was left in the hands of the home plate umpire.
Yeah. We had one last year with Chas McCormick, and we went into... We kind of dissected the whole play because he landed on the bag with his right foot. This ball to short. We are not going to have any stories today. There will be no stories told in this. Oh, yes, we are.
Oh, thank you very much.
Time for a story. So Chas landed on the bag with his right foot. And it's literally physically impossible to not be on the inside of the lane, inside the line, and land on the bag with your right foot. So now they've just cleared that up. That little wide throw cost the Marlins an inning-ending double play. No error on the play as the inning will continue.
Yeah, I felt like that needed to be clarified for everybody involved. Makes it a little bit easier for the umpires to be able to make that. Now that you have a firm, if he's on the dirt, safe. If he's on the grass, you're out.
Joey Loperfido, the batter. He's been impressive this spring. Loperfido is one of those guys that, again, first cuts were just made on Sunday, but Will Wagner's no longer on the spring training roster. We might see Will at some point in 2024. Jacob Melton's no longer on the spring training roster. We could see Jacob at some point in 2024, but a guy like Joey Loperfido still here getting at bats. He's going to get a start tomorrow, so the Astros taking a longer look at this guy from Duke who is coming off a big minor league season last year. Stolen base attempt and in there safely. Gray Kessinger picks up a stolen base. That's a good example of the new rule, Blummer.
That was a good job by Gray, getting a good jump, too, because usually that left knee will go down in front of the bag, but you can see having to stand up, open up a lane for that runner to get in there.
And no longer, you've got to give the runner some sort of lane there to get into the bag. Loperfido goes down on strike, so Marlins pitching continues to be impressive, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 8th. We head to inning 9, still 1-0 Miami.
By Reliant, gave you 3 clues. 21st century athletic debut, monster catch. Who is that Astro? Jazz, of course. 21st round pick in 17. MLB debut versus the A's in 21. And in 22, made a game-saving catch in Game 5 up against the wall in Philadelphia. Chaz McCormick.
On we go to the 9th inning. This has been an incredible pitcher's duel. 5 hits total and a 1-0 Miami lead. New pitcher, Ray Gaither.
It's going to be Gaither's second appearance here in spring training. He's thrown an inning, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, had a strikeout, didn't walk anybody. He signed as a non-drafted free agent back in 2021 out of Coppell, Texas.
I went to Dallas Baptist. He was there from 2017 through 2021. Out of Capel and on to Dallas Baptist, where he played on the Patriots team 5 years with that pandemic season right in the mix. There you see Gaither's numbers last year at Corpus. How about Jose Abreu? He's staying in the game. He's going the full 9 today.
I'll tell you what, Todd. If you're going to play a full game, this would be the game.
You're right.
You haven't spent much time on the field.
You're right. I feel like I've been trying to play catch up with all these changes the whole game.
There's no way.
That was Marty Costas that walked, by the way. Yeah, it's been like the last day of spring training.
Absolutely,
where guys
right?
are ready to catch their flights back to.
Yeah, get that first pitch swing in, get out of there.
And it's been a lot of strikes too. Credit to pitchers; they've been getting ahead of hitters,
getting after it.
This was Trey Mancini's spot. Looks like we have a new designated hitter in the game for Miami.
Possibly Pareda.
Yeah, Johnny Pareda. Good call. Nicely done.
A process of elimination over here on my scorecard, Todd.
You saw the 8. There's not a lot of guys wearing 8 something. Pareda swings through that pitch.
Yeah, I myself broke in to my first big league camp with a wide receiver number.
Really? What was your first one?
83.
Wow.
Yep.
There goes the runner. They've been running a lot.
Oh, my gosh. A spring against the Astros. It has been a track meet.
Oh, Marty Costas, former Astro minor leaguer, gets in there with a stolen base. He knows some of these guys as he has a little smile and slaps the hand.
Yeah.
Marty spent a lot of years in the Astros minor league system. 3-1 pitch is fouled back and the count goes full. Marty was out of University of Maryland and played from 2018 through last year. He spent most of last year with Sugarland, now getting a chance with the Marlins. Oh, count was not 3-2. Now it's 3-2. Fouled back, stays 3-2 on Johnny Pareda. And Costas last year at AAA Sugarland, 53 games, batted .252 with 2 home runs. Oh, excuse me, check swing foul ball. The count stays full. Gaither will turn 27 years old on March the 11th. So less than a week away from his 27th birthday. Costas was going to try and steal third. He's going to try and run against his former teammates. Laughs at David Hensley on his way back. Smiles at Gray Kessinger on his way back.
Yeah, he's trying to make the rounds and see all of his old buddies.
Stole 7 bags last year for Sugar Land. 3-2 pitches off the plate, ball 4, so back-to-back walks allowed by Gaither. And the Marlins trying to add to their 1-0 lead.
Number 10, Curtis Owen.
And now a word from Buick GMC.
There are trucks, and there's the truck. The GMC Sierra.
Cesar Salazar, Gray Kessinger, Ray Gaither. A little conversation on the mound. Gaither is pitcher number 6 on the day for the Astros. The previous 5 pitching very well. Only a solo home run that just barely cleared the wall in left field, allowed by Misiel Tamarez. It's the only run allowed to this point, but now trying to work around a couple of walks in this inning. Kirk Casale will get a second at bat. He flied out to left field against Tamarez his first time up. Casale, a veteran catcher, has been around with a number of different teams. Works out at his old college Vanderbilt in the offseason. Started with Tampa Bay, moved on to Cincinnati, San Francisco Giants, Seattle. This ball could be 2, and it is. Around the horn we go. Defense continues to be sharp. Now is Hensley to Whitcomb to Abreu for the double play.
That was nicely done and much needed for Ray Gaither on the mound. Hard hit to third base. Hensley makes the quick pickup and great feed over to second base, and Whitcomb onto Abreu to go all the way around the horn. That was beautiful.
Javier Sanoa is the batter. Sanoa fouls one back. Next pitch misses down. Astros will have the top of their order due up in the 9th inning. Top of their order is Shea Whitcomb, Corey Julks, and David Hensley right now. Trey Cabbage would hit 4th, and if it gets beyond that, Jose Abreu hoping to get one more at bat today since he hung around for 9. One and 2 the count. Line drive, base hit to right, drops in right in front of Trey Cabbage. That'll score a run. So Sanoa drives in a run with an RBI single. It's 2-0 Marlins.
Pretty good piece of hitting going the other way. Pick up that RBI.
It's 21-year-old Javier Sanoa picking up that RBI hit. Ball fielded by Abreu, but just fouled. 0-1.
Go Stros. Go Stros.
It's kind of a young fan who's excited about the Stros.
I think they figured out that that mic is actually getting on the show. And
1-1 the count.
good for him. He can keep talking.
Jose Devers the batter. Pitcher, the runner going, the pitch home, and the throw not in time. Marlins continue to be very aggressive on the base paths here. That is their 4th stolen base of the game. A lot of steals for not a lot of runners.
Yeah. I feel like every time they've gotten a runner on first base, they've taken the opportunity to try and steal it.
Abreu will flip it to the pitcher covering. Gaither makes the play to end the inning. But a couple of walks and a hit, and the Marlins score a run. It's 2-0 as we head to the 9th. Baseball on Space City Home Network is presented by Whataburger. Give your taste buds that winning feeling with the new boneless Whata Wings from Whataburger. Available for a limited time. And by Fubo. Stream live Astros games on Space City Home Network with Fubo. Visit Fubo.tv to start your free trial. Fast-paced game today as we head to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Not much offense for either side. Astros with 2 hits without a run. The Marlins with 4 hits and 2 runs late. A run in the 8th and a run in the 9th. Here's Shea Whitcomb. Whitcomb will face the new pitcher for the Miami Marlins. That is Vladimir Gutierrez. And Whitcomb, who had 35 minor league home runs last year, flies out to right to start the bottom of the 9th.
Gutierrez spending the last couple of seasons with the Cincinnati Reds before signing with the Marlins as a free agent. Quickly getting one out.
Corey Julks, who pinch hit for Yordan Alvarez as the DH in the 7th inning, gets his second at bat. Julks hit one out in that game Sunday against the New York Mets, taking a called strike here. It's 0-1. Hits this ball hard to center field. All the way back on it goes Mesa Jr. He will barehand it nicely. Julks is going to head to second. He'll get there with a double. Julks has had some good at-bats this spring, trying to make the team again with a solid spring training.
He is squaring up some baseballs at this point in spring training. He pulled that home run the other day. This one he stays on that heater and drives it the other way. That is a very strong, short, compact swing for Corey Julks. You saw the power kind of flame out middle part late of last season. But here in spring, he's figured out that power stroke.
He's now 5 for 14 this spring, as he picks up his first double to go along with a home run.
He's having some remember me swings. Wow.
And Corey had that terrible 0 for stretch last year and then ended up being sent down, and then we didn't see him again for a few weeks, and then he was back down in September. But he ended up playing over 90 games for the Astros last year. That one's going to get away and move Corey Julks over to third base. The first base runner the Astros have had past second base in this game. Well, David Hensley in his first at bat today after Alex Bregman went 0 for 2 with a walk. That's here with a runner on third and one out. Hensley chops one foul at the plate. It's 2-2. Astros looking for their first run, and they've only had one runner reach second base, 2 runners reach second base prior to Julks, and now the first runner reached third. Hensley goes down on strikes. That's the second out of the inning. Gutierrez picks up his first strikeout. Don't forget, coming up after the game will be the Astros postgame show. It's presented by Whataburger. Julian Morales and Mike Stanton will be breaking down the Astros' 2, make it 3 hits today. We'll have plenty of highlights to show you from the pitching side, though. Very good pitching from the Astros today.
You don't have to say that with them sitting across.
Oh, they're here?
Us. Yeah.
Oh, they're already in? I'm sorry. 3 hits. A lot of good pitching from Mike to break down.
Yeah,
pitcher.
He's going to enjoy it.
Well, they could get a run here. It's up to Trey Cabbage. Trey swings through that off-speed pitch. 0-2. Trey Cabbage in his second at bat. Struck out his first time up. Trey coming over from the Angels in this offseason, trying to find a spot on this roster. And there's a hard hit ground ball smothered by the second baseman Devers. And that'll do it. The Astros are shut out on 3 hits today. 5 different Marlins pitchers combined on the 3-hit shutout as Miami wins in West Palm Beach at the Cacti Park of the Palm Beaches by the final score of 2-0. We'll be back with more as we continue with our post-game show right around the corner.